in 2009, 19, I'm sorry, and 9 years ago, I should say. He fast-tracked it in 2017. And so all of a sudden he changed his mind and said it's not good. So that's a false fact. And number two, that after the tolls, we pay off our share of the bridge. It's going to be Michigan that owns half of it. So this was all agreed to. It's going to enhance the American economy and obviously the Canadian economy. What it would cost about 850,000 hours of trucks sitting on the other bridge. That equals about 2,326 hours per day, holding commerce up, not to mention people traveling back and forth for tourism. But what we have to focus on is our plan, moving forward, making sure that we cut red tape, we cut regulations, put money back into businesses' pockets and people's pockets to stimulate the economy, and make sure that the people of Ontario and Canada feel confidence that we have a plan. We're working collaboratively with all three levels of government to make sure that we focus again on our economy. And a perfect example is when I was meeting the premiers. We are in the port of St. John. It's doubled the shipment. So plan is working about diversifying our economy. It's no longer just relying on the U.S., but we're getting it done. And I want to thank Premier Susan Holt out in New Brunswick. She's excited because, again, before we were only doing X amount of shipments to St. John Port. Now it's doubled. So that's going all over the world. We're going to continue building our economy and being strong. But folks, this is not the time. And this is my message to the Prime Minister and the people of Canada. This is not the time to roll over and let President Trump take advantage of us. Keep saying that we've taken advantage of the Americans, contrary to what I believe in. It's the other way around, but we want a strong relationship with our closest friend and ally, and we're going to continue moving forward. But you got to ignore all the rhetoric.
Premier, the president mentioned the LCBO ban, that Ontario is banning booze on LCBO shelves. That's a policy that you implemented.
Mm-hmm.
Does his mention of that make you more likely to remove the ban or less likely to remove the ban, because it clearly it's getting inside his head? Yeah,
well, it's obviously working. It's an irritant, but there's one thing President Trump can do: get rid of Canadian tariffs. All it does is it's a tax on the American people. It's an attack on the American economy. Get rid of it, and we're good to go. The good news is our wineries, and especially in Niagara, they've seen a jump of close to 70% because people are tasting great Ontario-made wine, and they're enjoying it. So
So you're not backing off of that?
No, and I encourage people not to back off on it. This is key that we even double down if we have to. We're the largest purchaser of alcohol in the entire world, and that's one of our key negotiating areas that we can resolve within a minute. All President Trump has to do is get rid of the unfair tariffs he's putting on Canadians. I want to go back to the bridge. He said there was no U.S. content. It's not truthful. 75%, yes, we're Canadian steel and concrete because we're paying for it. 25% was U.S. steel and concrete. Then the interchange going on from the Michigan side, it was all American workers, all American steel, all American concrete. So again, there's fiction, what President Trump says, and then there's true facts that people can look up and see exactly where we stand. Sorry, I apologize. Question?
The Prime Minister giving you any guidance on booze? Like, does he support the ban at the LCBO?
No, he hasn't mentioned that, but he's not focused on that. That's under the jurisdiction of Ontario. But again, you want to fix it? Get rid of the tariffs. Stop hurting Americans and Canadians.
When you mentioned doubling down, what do you mean by that?
Well, let's not waver. Let's not buckle to President Trump's threats. Let's be strong as we have been. Let's continue to be strong. Negotiate through strength, not weakness. And we need to move forward. And I think the president has to realize if he doesn't, the midterms aren't going to turn out too well for him. And just imagine if he took a different approach, President Trump, how wealthy and strong the whole world could be, and everyone would be thriving and prospering. And as I always say, you can't unscramble an egg, you got to make the omelet larger. And it's unfortunate he's taken this approach to hurt his own people. He's hurting the American people and the American economy.
Did you get any assurance that any international automaker is ready to open a plant in Canada yet?
Not yet, but let's hope. We've created the environment and the conditions for companies to come here. We've cut over $12 billion of burden off the backs of people, off the backs of companies, to create the environment to be competitive around the world. And I'm going to once again call out Hyundai and Kia. They're selling 220,000 cars a year here. You have to open up a facility. I want to thank PowerCo and Volkswagen down in St. Thomas. They're well on their way. Let's bring vehicles here. But this is all conditional as well on having a great trade agreement, a fair trade agreement with the United States.
Premier, you mentioned the Super Bowl off
Yeah.
the top. It turns out Ontarians bought themselves a Super Bowl ad. Can you tell them how much they spent on that ad?
Well, every single year, it's all fully transparent. The numbers come out. The auditor checks it. The numbers come out. But this is about telling the people that we have a plan. The plan is working. We're moving forward. And we don't deviate from our plan and opportunities, no matter if it's in the nuclear sector that we're leading the world in, or the rare earth minerals that I encourage everyone to come to PDAC, the largest mining convention in the entire world, starting in March. So let's look at our strengths. We have a plan, and there's opportunities, so we stick with this plan for Ontarians and Canadians.
Premier, also during the Super Bowl was a major ad by Diageo featuring rock star Dave Grohl talking about old Canadian-made inventions, including Crown Royal whiskey. What did you think of that, and is there any progress your office has made? I know you're talking to Diageo right now.
Yes, that is correct. My message to Diageo when I spoke to him is, help me help you. Come up with ideas, how you can hire more people. Again, as I mentioned, I'm sure they're great business people. I know their company's hurting a bit, but in saying that, you don't go after your largest customer in the world. It's very simple. How about the 200 people that lost their jobs? And I know we're placing a few of them down at the Windsor auto plant at Stellantis, so we thank them for that. But again, we need to see some opportunities for Ontarians.
Premier, can you comment on your conversations with the Prime Minister about a possible early election? Why you said that, that stability is necessary right now?
Well, you know something, I don't divulge our conversations, but I'll be very frank with you. When you get 13 premiers in a room, politics comes up, and politics of every type comes up. That came up, but that's going to be up to the Prime Minister. It's going to be up to the people to decide. If they do decide to call the election, has nothing to do with me. I called my election. I'm good. We're moving forward, and that's it.
But what was your? But you had some advice to him, right? Because you have done this in the past, and you have talked about the need for stability. And
Yeah, I appreciate that, but there was only two people in the room, me and him. And I don't divulge that conversation, but is there conversations with 13 premiers in the room? Sure, there's conversations.
Would you like to see a majority government though for stability, just so that we don't have uncertainty given the threat, the existential threat from?
I've always said I don't care about political stripes. I'll work with anyone. I think I've proved that. I don't care if it's a Liberal federal government or an NDP mayor. I'll work with anyone that has the best interest of Ontario at heart. That's what I'm focused
So a
on.
majority would be preferable though.
You're putting those words into my mouth? Nope, I'm not.
So you'd
It's
rather
up to.
have a minority government.
No. Oh, I love that one. You know, Robert, what I want, I just want Ontario to prosper and keep moving forward. That's what I want. I'll work with anyone who gets elected.
Well, what was the Prime Minister's reaction though? Like when they're bringing this up, the poll numbers. Look, he's 29 points ahead from Pierre.
That's up to the Prime Minister, and that's up to his caucus to decide. And we want stability across the country, and we're all working together of all different political stripes at the provincial level with all the different premiers, and we just want to make sure that We have a strong economy in Ontario, which means a strong economy across the entire country.
Do you think he's considering it? Do you think he's
Oh,
considering
I don't know. That's up to him to decide.
Have you given any advice to Pierre Poilievre? Have you given any advice to Pierre Poilievre about a possible election?
No. I
You haven't
saw
talked to him?
Pierre. I saw Pierre at the portrait hanging of Prime Minister Harper. Shook hands, said hello, congratulated him, and
For what?
for getting a convention. Yeah, 80 some odd %. But anyways, you don't win elections at conventions. You win elections across the country. So let's see what happens if the Prime Minister decides to call elections. Sorry, Colin, you were
The
saying.
only thing that's happened between, a few weeks ago and now is Jamil Jivani going down to the United States. Do you think that Jamil Jivani's trip to Washington may have had some impact on what the president has said today?
Well, I'm not too sure what the conversation happened, but I encourage everyone to go down, every stakeholder, every corporation, every business owner, every premier, and the Prime Minister encouraged the premiers to continue to advocate for Canada. So wherever we can, let's get our voice out there, especially down to President Trump and his team, that we're open for business and we're stronger together than we are apart. And it's the AMCAN Fortress.
So are you still in touch with Howard Lutnick? Have you guys exchanged
Yeah.
phone calls in the last month or so?
I haven't talked to him personally, but he plays an important role like the rest of the administration. But again, no matter if it's Howard Lutnick or President Trump or anyone, you're so much stronger with the AMCAN Fortress that I've been preaching for a long time. As we're under attack by foreign countries in different ways, we need to stick together. We'd be the strongest, richest, wealthiest, safest two countries in the entire world. That's what I've been advocating. I'll continue to advocate to every American I speak to, and I speak to a lot of Americans, and the Republicans and Democrats. Obviously the Democrats, we know where they stand, but now Republicans are getting nervous. And it gets into, when the midterms come, I call it silly season, because all the politicians start going crazy and they want to get reelected. So if, the 13 Congress people, 7 are which Republicans, they start getting hammered by their constituents, watch how quickly they flip. And we'll see how that
Premier,
happens.
what do you make of the
Last
Inspector
question.
General's investigation? Do you think it's good that he's looking province-wide, or is it
Yeah.
overly broad? Like
Well,
the
I
police
support the
union
Inspector
say?
General's, review, I call it. And I just want to make sure that the people of this province understand that our police are there to support us, to keep our community safe. And I believe 99% of them do. Yes, is there a couple bad actors in any organization? Yes, they're going to be held accountable. And talking to frontline police officers that I do, they're as frustrated and angry, more than the people are. But this investigation or review, I should say, is going to make sure that we continue to have the greatest police in the entire world. And I truly believe we have the greatest police in the world. And again, there's some bad actors. They'll be held accountable. The courts will decide what they're going to face.
Premier, why are you unwilling?
Last one.
Yeah,
Go ahead, go.
yeah, sorry. Laura.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I'm curious about your thoughts on the police inspection, because a lot of people say it won't get to the root of what is needed, the root of what a public inquiry would look at. There are 5 specifics, but they won't go as far as they need to go. What are your thoughts?
I have confidence in Ryan Teschner. He's a pretty great individual. He's going to dig deep. He's not going to leave any stone unturned. And this is also supported by all our chiefs right across the province, the commissioner and everyone else. They're more frustrated than the people right now. And the police officers, frontline police officers are frustrated as well. We have to have trust in our police services right across the board. And I'm confident they'll do a great job, the Inspector General. But thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And look forward to chatting soon.
So
All right, thanks, that's it, everyone. Thank you.
Like, has Pierre
Thank
Poilievre
you.
reached out at all again for advice, or have you been chatting to him at all?
No, not at all. But that's all right. The people are going to decide at the end of the day. I gotta listen to Gracie. I've been ignoring her for the last 5 questions.
Lost it, thank you, that's it, thank you.
I'm not too sure. I gotta see when the feds are gonna be calling one, maybe soon. Who
So
knows?
are you
Thanks,
thinking
everyone.
of, but you don't wanna
Thank
rush
you.
into this, right?